So the thing about this project, Total Recall, is that it is 104 different little canvases. But if you were to take every canvas off its wooden frame and lay them out flat, if you were to unfold the entire image, it makes up one giant picture. Because there's 104 canvases, that means there's 104 different ideas. And very early on, I was trying to mentally unpack how to make this thing. Obviously, it's going to be a lot of deconstructed cartoon characters, of course. Everything I've done up to this point is now summarized with this piece of art, because it's such a big undertaking, where everything moving forward is now this new thing. What's going on right now versus what happened back then, like total recall. It's a total recall of everything. When I wanted to start painting, I had no idea how to paint. I've never did it before this, so I drew everything out in Photoshop first, and I still do that to this day. This is actually the first one I've ever done of this. It was really a huge undertaking because I'm so used to just working on one painting at a time, just one thought, where this was 104 thoughts that come together into one big idea, and it was just completely different. I literally sat here for weeks on end, just coloring and drawing Guys, we can't do this. All right, that's better. One of my very first memories of my entire life was laying on my grandma's living room floor watching cartoons and just redrawing them. I've been doing what I do right now my entire life. There was a detour in my late teens, early 20s where I thought I was gonna be in a punk rock band, and I did that for a while. At the time, I was doing all of my band's merchandise, like the album cover and the t-shirts. All the other bands started seeing it too, and they started asking me to do that for them. And I started doing that, and the band started getting bigger and bigger until I was doing, famous bands, and my stuff was starting to be in Hot Topics, and it allowed me to quit my job at a car insurance place. And even though I was drawing all this stuff, I really just wanted to be an actual fine artist. I had no idea what to do with my life, and I literally just started painting because I didn't know what to do with myself. I just was lost. One day I went to a Home Depot and bought a bunch of house paint and just started painting. Almost immediately there's all this electricity, because up until then I was either drawing on a piece of paper or I was designing stuff on a computer. But now I was getting paint on myself, and I was mixing up colors, and I was moving canvases around, I was building frames, and it was just so much more tactile. It was just this light went off in my head. I'm like, oh fuck, I was wasting my life up until this point. This is who I'm supposed to be. If you go into any, museum and you look at their artwork there, you'll find that a lot of it deals with religion, because back then they didn't have a TV, and all they talked about all day was what they were talking about at church and what the king was up to. That was their pop culture. Where now, I'm not religious. We don't have a king and queen, but we have TVs, and what are the things that permeate every person on earth? It's Mickey Mouse, and it's companies, and it's brands. These are now our modern day gods. The deconstructed pop art comes from my punk rock upbringing of anti-conformity, anti-authority. Don't be the things you wear. Don't be the things you like. Be yourself. Destroy those things. So when I moved to California, I started making paintings, and I was selling paintings for $400 on Instagram. At that point, I was I made it. I'm hungover in the morning. I wake up, I'm on this couch, and I get a text it's this gallery from Hong Kong. And he's like, hey, I have an opening in 2 months from right now, Hong Kong. I opened my phone, I just wrote yes, and I didn't even think about it. And I was like, fuck, I don't have any artwork. I had one assistant at the time, and I was just in my studio for a month and a half, just that's all I did. I really think having that show was the tipping point in my life, where I think everyone has one, where I flew to that show being this idiot punk rock guy that made $400 paintings, but I flew home this respected fine artist that people cared what I made, and people were collecting it seriously. And my life changed from that show. It was all really hard to accept because I didn't feel I should be there. I didn't feel I deserved it. Growing up in a cornfield in the middle of Pennsylvania, graduated with 50 kids, to now being here in Los Angeles, my entire life has been imposter syndrome. Why am I even here? And it's nice to be in a headspace now where I do think my work is good. Everyone has their own strengths that we all kind of rely on. Like Kevin, his attention to detail is probably twice as good as the rest of ours. Aaron, I can kind of depend on him to do anything here, and he's very fast. Like I can just be like, oh shit, that eyeball's the wrong color, and 2 minutes later, it's perfect. And Karina's strength is that she is the most thoughtful here. She's really good at coming up with solutions to problems, and my strength is I'm really good at hiring people. That's pretty much it. Total Recall incorporates this new concept where you could take any of these 104 home with you, put it on your wall, and it can exist as its own little painting, and it's fine, it's a complete thought. But the strength of this project is when they're all together and you're seeing the entire unfolded image. Like every painting goes into the next one. There's characters flying through multiple pieces of it. You know, there's ideas that exist 4 panels over from the other one, and you're only kind of getting all this information if you're seeing everything unfolded. There's pieces that you can only see from the sides that you can't see unless it's unfolded. Because it was such a big project with so much to do and so many little things that needed to be checked off to get it finished, it was really hard to get the wheel turning. Like the first 3 or 4 months were just like dog shit. I was so like anxious and like worried that I wasn't gonna be able to finish it and depressed about it. I would spend every week like hyper-focused on this one panel, like not good enough, not good enough. Where now that everything's finished, I can step back and look at the entire concept, like, holy fuck, like I built this, like my team built this. Like it's a huge undertaking and it's a huge achievement to like even be able to pull this off. There's this plan in place. If you guys ever saw the movie Weekend at Bernie's, this is true. If I die, I don't want anyone to talk about it, but I want them 3 to just get on my computer and just start making stuff and just make Matt Gondek paintings as long as they can without me until someone finds out.
We'll just remix everything we've already made with different colors.
Yeah, like send some money to my mom. And like, as long as you send my mom some of the money, I'm happy. I don't care after that. There's so much more weight to the pieces because these other people are a part of it with me, you know? And like, it's not just me trying to make money anymore or being afraid people are gonna like the painting. It's like, this is what was going on at that point. It's like much more important now. Because I'm like such like East Coast work ethic, I've never really been able to like step back and be like, okay, this is done. I'm so excited. I'm gonna take a little break. What's next? Like, I'm really just like, we've already started the next painting and I'm already sketching things out. It is nice to know that I'm at this point in my head where I do think what I'm doing is good enough, and knowing that I'm gonna kill it, whatever I'm making. Like, even if you don't like my work, it's really well executed. And I don't know what the next thing I'm gonna be forward facing with the public is, but it's gonna be fucking great.